Ross. Thanks as always for doing this. I know you're never going to get panicked into making trades, and trades don't happen quickly. But after your team went through some struggles a couple weeks ago, was there any added importance on your end to try and make a move or two sooner rather than later?
Yeah, no problem, Gregor. Good to see you. Thanks for having me here today. I think subconsciously we're human. There's always, emotion that's involved, and we were working very hard to think about opportunities to improve our team in the short term and the long term, but disciplined ourselves to make sure that we were thinking about both of those things, improving the team short term without sacrificing too much in the long term, and hopefully balancing them well. So, to say that we weren't, feeling the desire and making sure that we were working hard on every opportunity and that there wasn't emotion involved would also be not fair.
How does a trade like this come together? Like, were you guys searching for relief pitching, and then it kind of expands to include Dickerson, or how did this deal come together, and how quickly did it come together for you?
It's just the making sure that you're having very open conversations with every team, and keeping that dialogue going is exceptionally important. And in this case, it was Joe Sheehan working closely with the front office. I had several interactions with their front office as well, but Joe Sheehan and another employee for the Marlins really brainstorming this idea together that worked for both teams, and hopefully it will continue to.
Cool. Thanks, Ross.
All right, Gregor.
Go ahead, Keegan.
Hey, Ross, thank you for doing this. Last time you spoke to us, whether it was a week or two ago, I'm forgetting, but you said that you were expecting the trade market to maybe be moving a little earlier this year. Has that been the case now, a week or two on, that you've experienced some of this?
I think so, but it doesn't take much for it to slow down and hit pause. And now I think a lot of attention will go to the draft here with that coming up. And then, obviously the All-Star break. So it's really hard to say. I can only speak from the conversations that we're having, and we've seen a lot of opportunity. We feel good about understanding the needs of other teams, the interest of other teams. And, it's something that is nonstop for us and will continue over the course of the coming weeks.
And then on Cimber specifically, a unique pitcher, obviously, but what is it that attracts you to a pitcher like him, not just this year, but going forward?
The consistency of it, really. I mean, just the elite soft contact, elite ground balls, strike throwing ability, pitching in multiple roles, being someone who was at some point very much a specialist and right on right to developing into someone that could throw multiple innings and has really worked hard to attack left-handed hitters. His upshot fastball, his really what we see as three elite weapons, and the four-seam, two-seam, and slider were very attractive, in addition to it being a unique look for our bullpen.
All right, thank you, Russ.
Okay, Keegan.
Go ahead, Arden.
Hey, Ross. I'm just curious what you guys have learned about Corey Dickerson's foot injury just over the last 24 hours or so, and what kind of return to play timeline you might be looking at.
Yeah, fortunately, what we've learned over the last 24 hours has been exceptionally positive, because now we have all of the subjective comments that he's giving us, and his views and how he's feeling, things that we didn't have prior. And that has all been exceptionally positive. So optimistic about a return to play. We learned as much as we could on paper and from talking to the Marlins medical staff, and historically learning everything we could about him to ensure that he could be a piece for us moving forward. And we're optimistic that he will be, putting on a uniform in Buffalo or Toronto and wherever else we're playing this year.
And then on a different topic, Nate Pearson, I'm just wondering what kind of information you can share there about what you've learned about his injury.
It's starting to feel as though there, could be something underlying the way that the nature of this reoccurrence. But at the same time, we still have no evidence of that after multiple opinions. There's the potential of it. We have one more opinion that we're seeking. I can't remember if it's on Friday that will occur. But still optimistic that he is going to return to pitching, and he's of the mindset that he will be pitching again soon. Are there things that we can do in the short term to help him finish this season? Will there need to be things done potentially in the long term? Depends upon, as we look for anything that could be underlying that there has been no evidence of to date. So he's in a good place mentally. Obviously not perfect. I mean, he's frustrated, but I think he's coping with it well and dealing with it well, and very hopeful to be pitching again.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, Art.
Go ahead, Ben.
Hey, Ross, just following on Pearson there. So understanding that, of course, these decisions will be made in conjunction with him. But is this something that, whether it's now or in the off season, you guys are considering a surgery or procedure of some kind for him?
Well, that would just depend on the continued information that we gather. So we'll see. I think if there is something that we find that is underlying, then you would have to consider a procedure versus conservative treatment.
For sure. And then with Cimber and Dickerson, you can see how those guys help your team. And yet there's still another month before the deadline. How do you assess your kind of ongoing needs, the biggest ways to potentially improve this team further?
Similar as we spoke a week ago, and the run prevention category will be, take up the bulk of our focus. At the same time, if there's a way for us to become more balanced in our lineup, whether that be another left-handed hitter or just a different style or approach, we'll be open to it. And as well as run prevention with defense. If there's opportunities there, we will be open to that as well. So, I feel like there's going to be more opportunities for us, and very hopeful that we'll be able to execute on them, but feel like we're in a good position because of the shape of and the state of our farm system, and the support of Rogers and Mark Shapiro to continue to make this team better. As I've said, I believe I said it a week ago, I feel that our players have earned that. The Charlie Montoyo and this staff and our players have earned the right for us to continue to complement this group, and we'll work hard to do that.
And just generally, when it comes to any trade, obviously you need to assess your own guys that you're trading away or not trading. So how has your internal evaluation process changed in the last, say, 5 years?
It's just, every year we think about how we can improve upon it, and the inputs or the work that goes into our process evolves, and it hopefully just becoming more efficient as opposed to adding work to it. Although the different weights that go into how we're assessing our 10th prospect versus our 11th prospect, or how we're placing a value on our 3rd prospect versus our 15th prospect, and how can we be more systematic, because it's exceptionally important in the long term that you get those decisions right and you place the right values on those. And hard to be perfect in those categories and dealing with human beings, but it really comes down to, in our view and in our opinion, is how collaborative can we be. There is never really a loudest voice. It's where is the rationale, and where are things making the most sense for our process to help us make the best decisions.
Gotcha. Thanks, Ross.
All right, Ben.
Go ahead, Caitlin.
Hey, Ross. Thanks for your time.
Likewise, Caitlin.
I was wondering, how do you anticipate your catching situation kind of working itself out in the next couple of weeks? I guess I think that you have both Jansen and Kurt rehabbing in AAA right now, and the way that Reese is hitting, you could have a situation where you potentially have 3 catchers that you're maybe deciding who's going to be on the major league roster.
Yeah, I'm glad we're in this situation. Can't say enough about the job that Reese has done. It's not just the fact that he's hitting above 300 and has I believe a mid 700s OPS, and he's done an exceptional job catching and throwing and blocking. One of the best caught stealings in a huge moment, getting Starling Marte with nobody out in the 9th inning, down 1 or 2 runs, I believe, with a 1-7 to second base. I mean, he has really been exceptional defensively. He's done a great job with our staff. So I'm so glad we're in that situation. He's really stepped up for us and gotten some very timely hits and some big hits to turn the lineup over for us. So, we'll see. I think, Jano has certainly earned the right to be on this team. Although he struggled offensively, we believe so much in the person, the teammate, the character, and what he brings all around. And Alejandro has obviously earned the right, with his balanced approach to the game and the exceptional offensive performance. So, we'll see those guys. We're going to have some decisions on our hands, not only for the short term, but also long term with our roster as we balance out with Riley Adams and Gabriel Moreno. And Riley will probably hit a double and a bomb tonight to make it even more challenging. That would be great if he did that. No pressure. But I'm glad we do have that situation in a position that many times I think many organizations find themselves searching for solutions in that area.
I mean, coming up on, trade talk and all that, I mean, does it still, I think we had this conversation in the off season, but does catching still present an opportunity for you guys if you were to decide to maybe leverage that for other opportunities?
Sure. I think there that can present itself, but we are, not calling teams and telling them that we are trading our catching. We are in a good position, and when you're in a strong position and have an area of depth, that oftentimes does occur.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
All right, Caitlin.
Go ahead, Mitch.
Hey, Ross, thanks for the time. Some members of the Marlins yesterday, or the front office, said that you guys had asked on Dickerson a few times, even throughout the winter. I was wondering what's kind of drawn you to him over the past few months and years.
The bat speed, the teammate, the character, the versatility, the overall track record. We've heard so much about the toughness and know the teammate well, have a lot of people that have crossed paths with him, most specifically Charlie and Dante Bichette as well. So, he's an interesting fit for us, and we're, certainly pleased to have added him to the organization and look forward to him getting past this injury and putting on a Blue Jays uniform.
And then kind of further down on the catching depth chart, it seems like Gabriel Moreno hasn't played the past couple of days. I was wondering if you have an update on what's up with him.
Yeah, unfortunately, the worst of luck. I mean, just a very unfortunate hit by pitch that caught him in the wrong spot of his thumb that has caused a very minor fracture that potentially involves also a minor subluxation, which will mean some time down. We're still getting our arms around whether or not the procedure will be necessary or not, whether it will be an intervention or not. But would be most likely that he'll have weeks down from that fracture.
Thanks, Ross.
Okay, Mitch.
Go ahead, Shai.
Hey, Ross. Thanks for doing this. Appreciate it. Hope you're well.
Likewise.
I'm just wondering, with Panic coming off the roster, how do you see the depth situation at third base if something were to happen with Kevin Biggio?
Yeah, I mean, part of that trade was our confidence in how well Espy has played, Santiago Espinal has played, and then the performance of Kevin Smith and Breivik Valera in AAA. I mean, Kevin Smith has been, as we talked about last week, just an exceptional highlight for him. And I couldn't be happier for him, just how hard he's worked. He's exceptionally driven. But those pieces or the different pieces of the equation helped us make that decision, and excited for those guys and hope that we have an opportunity for them. But in the short term, we have a great opportunity for Espy and for Kevin.
All right. And casting forward to when Dickerson returns to health, and assuming that there are no other injuries, how do you envision the 5 outfielder situation working? Is that a type of roster, 26-man roster setup that you would think is optimal?
Well, I think the ability to play first base, as with Lourdes Gurriel going to first base today, certainly helps, and we'll have to continue to think about other versatility options. But when you do have the platoon effect, it makes it a lot easier, not just for the starts, but in game, and guys potentially not getting 4 to 5 plate appearances every day, but a lot of guys potentially getting two plate appearances every day. So at least that many. Obviously, there will be guys that are just out there every day, but balancing that and putting guys in positions to be even more successful is where we're trying to get, and depth is obviously important, as we've seen this year thus far already.
All right. Thanks, Ross.
All right, Shai.
Go ahead, Gregor.
Hey, Ross. The last time I think we were talking to you, you were mentioning Thomas Hatch and at least having some conversations about his future role. Are you guys any more set on how he's going to be used, or is that determined by what you guys do over the next few weeks and the needs that you have?
Well, it's also making sure that we have starting depth and the right number of guys stretched out, that could not just having one pitcher in AAA that could come, because of, you understand the importance of having several, because of having the potential of an immediate need and guys needing certain amount of rest. So we're still balancing that out, and a lot of it will depend upon not only the potential of what opportunities are ahead, but also how guys perform in the coming days, and how Anthony Kay does, and the bullpen for us here now as he transitions into that role will impact that as well.
After tonight's game, I think you guys have 4 games to go before you officially hit the midway point of the season. Just in case we don't talk to you in the next few days, how would you sum up how the first half has gone for you guys? Are you content with the start you guys off to, or do you wish it could have been a little bit better? How do you feel about it?
Well, I can't say enough about the group and the morale and the effort. I feel very good about that. I feel very good about the guys coming together, how they're viewing one another, as how they're viewing themselves as a piece of the solution, and with a very team first approach to things. The win-loss record we wish was different, and we do have control over that. It's not just bad luck. We've missed some opportunities, and some of it's been defense, some of it's been approach, and some of it's been pitching. So I think a lot of heat came down on our bullpen. That was a lot of those same guys were performing exceptionally well for us at the start of the year. So we've seen a small bounce back from some of them in recent days, and obviously in Romano and Timmy Meza just been exceptional for us and really steady. So I think overall, there's a lot of talk about the difference in our win-loss record and the run differential, and there is something to that. There is something to what we think this team is capable of and what will in the end be. I think if we can stay healthy, continue to play the way we've played over the last 5 or 6 days for an extended period of time, look to complement this team to the best of our ability, add some pieces that are internal, not just look for external. Excited about Dolis and Ryan Barucki and Julian Merriweather and others coming back into the fold, getting Nate Pearson back pitching again. So, I feel the state of the organization's in a great place, and I feel very good about the effort that's put forward, and exceptional about the potential of this team.
Considering that run differential that you just touched on, and you've had a lot of losses that were very close games. Do you feel like you guys are better than your record right now?
Yeah, it's like not as simple as that, as just a yes or no. Are we better than our record? I think that's what matters, is your record. But in the end, I feel that we are going to be a team that is contending, and a team that's improving, and an organization that's in great shape.
Cool. Thanks, Ross.
All right, Gregor.
Go ahead, Jesse.
Hey, Ross, working on a feature on Marcus Semien, and I'm curious, about halfway through the season, if you could have asked for a better free agent signing, especially a 1-year deal, as he must have just fit in so perfectly there. And of course, the production on the field. Can you revisit that signing a little bit?
Yeah, he just puts a smile on my face. I think Marcus is so good for baseball. He's been exceptional for us. He is a calming, steady influence from not only from the first minute that he walks into the clubhouse, but when he taps his bat on the plate too, and when he toes it up at second base, he's been exceptional defensively. He's a very, very stable decision maker, good decision maker, offensively and defensively. And that doesn't happen by chance. It doesn't happen just because he's played the game for a long time. He works really hard at it. And that has been a great influence, not something that I feel that our young players needed, but I feel like something that they are truly benefiting from in a significant way. Everything that we had heard about him was exceptionally positive, and he has far exceeded our expectation with the things that I mentioned.
It sounds like he said this publicly. He went to second base kicking and screaming a little bit, like the position change. Can you go back to maybe that conversation where he kind of finally accepted it? And it's kind of interesting. He still views himself as a shortstop. He said it. It's like two shortstops out there for you guys.
Yeah, that's the way it feels for us too. I would have, obviously Charlie has zero reservations when he gives Bo a day for Marcus to be over there. So, thinking back to him, deciding to do that, the interactions that we were having with him, with Marcus about it, were just as open as we could be about how we were viewing Bo, how we were viewing Cavan, and how we were viewing the opportunity for him. And he was, as you would expect, very inquisitive and really collaborative about it. And I think one of the things that it excited us the most when we thought we had the real potential to sign him, and we really felt as though he was authentically or genuinely considering this alternative, was when he started to talk about Bo and his faith in Bo and his belief in this young team and ways that he thought he could help Bo at shortstop. And that just speaks to the person that he is, the way he thinks about the game. I think it's something that gets maybe not lost. I think all great players really, on some level, well, maybe not all, but I think, most or many very good players think this way. They think about team first, and it takes some pressure off. And he seems to have that innately.
Thank you. Good luck.
Likewise.
Go ahead, Ben.
Ross, a moment ago, you mentioned Merriweather. I'm just wondering if there's any update on what kind of timeline he's looking at, where he's at.
It's just being built up. So there's, as he continues his bullpen progression, he's throwing bullpens. Everybody's progression is a little bit different. And as we get him built up and ready to pitching games, whether that is in the next 2 days or if it's a little bit longer than that, we'll see. It really is just based on the tolerance.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Likewise.
Go ahead, Shai.
Hey, Ross, you mentioned the run differential, the expected win-loss. I'm just wondering, as you're sort of looking at those numbers and you sort of look at the record against teams over 500, I guess specifically the Rays, the Red Sox would be the prime ones. Just how are you kind of melding that mix into evaluating what this team needs going forward?
I feel really good about how we have competed with the Rays and the Red Sox. We've been in, I believe, almost every game with them and lost several of them that we could have won. And I'm not a big believer in luck. I think that's why we do it 162 times. What's important is that we're competitive, and that's what we're focused on.
All right. And, you mentioned Merriweather, Baraki, DeLeese. I'm wondering, is you're sort of examining the guys that you are going to at some point come off the IL and rejoin your bullpen and potential internal options that you have. How are you weighing that in terms of how much more relief help you may want to add between now and the deadline?
I think the way we're viewing it is that we want to add in the area of run prevention. That could be via starting pitching, that could be via relief, and we will work to do that. And then when we have that decision to make in front of us, then we can factor in where all those other alternatives are and, how significant of contributions we should be expecting from them. But I think having alternatives is important, and adding to the alternatives that we have internally is something that we're trying to do.
All right. Thanks again.
All right, Shai.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Ross.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Good to see you. Happy Canada Day. I won't see you tomorrow.